You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
AfterBuzz TV presents Chatting with Cathy. Sit-down interviews with Hollywood's leading actors, artists, and entrepreneurs. And now, your host of Chatting with Cathy, Cathy Kelly.
Hello everyone, Bing is for doing, and today we're doing another episode of Chatting with Cathy right here on AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Cathy Kelly, and joining me today is Christina Grimmie, who has achieved incredible success on YouTube. Since uploading her first YouTube video, she's amassed over 2 million subscribers, and unlike many other young artists, her goal isn't fame, but rather inspiring young fans with her music. Her new album, With Love, drops tomorrow, and in a few days, she's heading out on tour with Selena Gomez and Emblem 3. Christina, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here, too.
Sweet.
So, we're going to take it back to the very beginning. You grew up in New Jersey.
I did.
So, what was family life like growing up?
Very tight-knit, you know, like I have a very cool family bond. We're all really close. My brother is a year older than me, and we're like best friends. You know, I love my dad. I'm like the daddy's girl, and I love my mom, of course.
Yeah.
And it was pretty chill, you know. And then, you know, I moved out here to LA like 2 years ago, and it's such a, I guess it's kind of a big contrast, especially the weather and the parking situations. They're
you mean lack of
different.
Parking situations?
Yes, pretty different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, growing up was fun, and it was all music, really.
Yeah.
It was all music.
You said that you started singing around 4 years old.
Yeah.
A lot of people have those aspirations of being in the industry, whether it's acting or singing or dancing even. When do you think the transition was from singing being a hobby to wanting to pursue it as a career?
Okay, well, honestly, like, I think I was sick from school one day when I was like, I don't know, 7 maybe, or 8 or whatever. It was like kindergarten or whatever that was. And I had always been saying, you know, when the teacher or someone would be like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And for some reason, I was just like, the first thing that came to my mind was like, oh, I want to be a waitress, man. I want to be a waitress. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
It was just the first thing that came to my head. Like, oh, I definitely want a waitress.
I used to say I wanted to be a babysitter when I grew up.
That's so cute. See, like, I mean, we didn't really know.
Yeah.
So it was just like, that was what I would say when people would ask me. And but I always sang. It never, like, occurred to me until one day I was, like, home from school. I was like, and then I was singing in my karaoke machine. I love it. And, it just occurred to me. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start saying that when, like, you know, important people ask me, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm going to be like, I want to be a singer. Like, and so, like, from that day on, I was like, I definitely want to, you know, make albums and go around and tour and do all that.
Yeah.
So
you said family is always kind of, family-like life was always kind of centered around music. Your brother also plays some instruments as well.
Yeah.
Is anyone else in your family musically inclined?
My dad, no. He will tell you that. My mom comes from a musical family. Her dad was in a band that actually did pretty well, I'm pretty sure, back in the day.
What was it called?
So I don't remember. I think it was like the Tyrones or something. She'll probably like kill me if I got that wrong. But that whole, my mom's side of the family was like, you know, pretty musical in that area because of her dad. And my dad's not at all. My brother plays guitar, and he writes music and stuff like that. So we're pretty musical family, I'd say.
Yeah. So you started playing keyboard or piano when you were young as well. And I know that something that I struggled with as well when I was trying to learn music was you couldn't read, like you didn't just read the sheet music, you would try to sound out everything.
Yeah.
So do you ever think that that was a challenge?
Playing by ear was a challenge? No, that part came more natural. I mean, the note reading was just a pain. Honestly, I mean, I tried to get several lessons when I was younger, growing up, and I don't know. I think it was more of a chore that way, you know, like trying to figure out the notes, because after a while, you know, you'd see the sheet music for like 3 Blind Mice or something, you know, and then like I would just be like, well, I know the song already. What's the point of learning the notes? Because I could just figure it out by playing it. You know what I mean? And it just like it took the fun out of it, kind of. And I was just like, I don't know. I could not imagine playing like, you know, the left hand and the right hand and reading that. It just kind of really confused me. So I think people that can read notes like that are genius, in my opinion.
Yeah. I always struggled with that, so I don't understand it.
Yeah. I'm on the same page.
Literally another language. So you have had incredible success on YouTube. As I mentioned, you started in 2009, and now you have over 2 million subscribers, which is crazy.
It's really crazy, yeah.
So originally you weren't planning on uploading any YouTube videos at all, but your friend Lauren convinced you to?
Yeah.
So what was that like? Did she just say, you know, you should start singing on recording it?
I mean, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know if she meant make it a routine, but she's like, she pretty much showed me this one YouTuber, and at the time that specific YouTuber had maybe like 50,000 subscribers or so, and that was a lot for then, you know. And my friend's like, okay, this girl's not even that good, and if you upload a video, oh my gosh, like people would totally love that. And I was like no, you know, I didn't know the power of YouTube at the time, and it was kind of growing, you know, and music wasn't huge on YouTube yet, but it was kind of, you know, getting there. And so I think it was just like a few months later, like one day in the summer, I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna try something, because Hannah Montana, loved that show, right? There was like a new episode, and they had this song called "Don't Want to Be Torn" on it, and they were kind of advertising it as a new song. Ooh, it's coming out soon. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, maybe that's a good one to cover, because then people will be searching it, you know? So then I found a lyric video already on YouTube, and then I learned it, and I was like, oh, sweet. Like this is a good one, you know, to upload first. So that was my very first video, and it's still up to this day.
Yeah.
So.
And it started out with just a simple camera and your keyboard in your room.
Yeah. It was that simple, and I probably did like, I think 2 takes of that.
Really?
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah, and as it progressed, you know, I would get way like tedious about things. So like later in my like cover career, I guess, I was just like, you know, doing like 10 takes just to make sure that I had it.
You're a perfectionist about those things?
Yeah. I'm like terribly perfectionist. It's like a shame.
Yeah.
But it's good, but it's a curse. It's a blessing, but a curse.
That's one of the things that they say in job interviews to say as your weakness, is that you're a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not always a bad thing.
It's not. Yeah. I mean, it is good, but I mean, stress-wise, it's just like, you know, I mean it. Like, I could have a near perfect take, and then like one note can be slightly off, and I'll be like, nope, we gotta redo the whole thing. So, you know.
You're your own worst critic.
I am. My mom calls me that all the time.
Yeah. So you started gaining popularity when you were still in high school. What were your classmates' reactions to your success on YouTube?
Some were really cool. Some didn't say anything, which was like totally fine with me. I didn't really care, but I don't know. I didn't really have like, you know, the mean girls in school. There were back in like middle school. Like I, you know, went through a phase of like being verbally bullied, you know, back then. But in high school, it was like people were just cool. They didn't really talk to me that much after a while, just because they didn't want to seem like they were like trying to make a friendship happen. You know what I'm saying? But people were like nice about it. They weren't like jerkish or whatever.
Good.
Which is good, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was junior year you started being homeschooled.
Yeah, you did your homework. You really did. Yeah, that was my first homeschool year.
Mm-hmm. And what was that transition like from being at a regular traditional school to being taught at home?
It was so great.
You liked it?
So great. I loved it. And I feel like, honestly, I feel like I learned more. And not only did I learn more, but I actually liked to learn more because it was actually a program where I could do it by myself. So I didn't really have a teacher, but I had someone to guide me who was my aunt, because she homeschooled all her kids. She has 4 kids. So yeah, I just had all this curriculum that was like do-it-yourself curriculum, and it was like I just enjoyed it, and I made it through junior and senior year. So now
You learned more at your own pace.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like you missed out on any of the, traditional high school experiences like prom or?
I actually went to prom.
You did?
Though, with my boyfriend of 4 years. And he took me to prom because he's a year older than me. So we ended up going.
Oh, that's good.
He still went to the school. So,
yeah.
So that worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know your family and your mom especially has been hugely supportive of your career. Did you ever have a time when someone told you or kind of said that you couldn't do this?
I mean, the devil's in my head, yes. I don't think I've really had anyone just like say it. I think there's been people that have been they've been trying to be realistic about things, a few years ago, like, well, you should probably think about backup plan just in case. And it's like, no, I think I'm good.
Do you have a backup plan?
Not exactly. I mean, I kind of do. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I would go to.
You're still really young, so you have time to.
Right, exactly. I'm 19, so I could figure out something. But I feel like I would probably, if music just doesn't work at all, I'd probably go to college, for music or something. But
It seems like it's working.
I think it's working. As Lord willing, I continued this path. It's been nice.
No, it seems like it's working out very well so far, and it seems like you only have amazing things coming in the future as well.
Yeah, I hope so. Because I have a lot of awesome stuff lined up. So let's just keep that momentum going.
So after you started gaining popularity on YouTube, people in the industry started reaching out to you, and one of those people was actually Brian Tiffy, Selena Gomez's stepdad.
Yeah.
So I know that there's an interesting story there.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to shorten it as best as I can, though. Pretty much, I did this video with Kurt Schneider, who is also a YouTuber. I love him. And
Our engineer Marissa loves this.
Okay. Isn't Kurt the man? He's awesome. But yeah, I did a video with him, and my brother was kind of like an extra kind of in the video for like a split second. So, I was just like, oh, I'll put his channel description, like in the description box or whatever. And like, oh, the guy on the bench at this amount of seconds is my brother. So good thing I did that, because Brian was trying to find me and couldn't actually contact me. My inbox was kind of, overloaded with mail anyway, so I didn't really check that as frequent as I used to, because it was just kind of getting bombarded at the time. And so Brian ended up messaging my brother, because he's like, oh, okay, her brother's channel's here, so I'm gonna just send him an inbox. He probably doesn't have like as much, Yeah. And so my brother checked it one day, and it was from Selena Gomez's actual YouTube channel. So my brother was like, I'm pretty sure Selena's stepdad is trying to contact us. So that's how that happened. And I was in school when I found that out. My brother totally texted me during math class. No texting in school. But, and I was just like, what? So we all, when I got home, we all had to talk about it. And we ended up calling him. And things just worked out from there, pretty much.
What was your initial reaction when you found out that it was legit?
When I found out it was actually legitimate, I was just like, it was one of those things where I'm like, my life has changed. Like, I have a reason to keep doing this, and I knew I was in good hands. That's another thing, because different people who say they want to manage you, you know, they're kind of shady or whatever, and you don't know that much about them, but you know, we felt really secure about it and good, and they've been great and putting up with me through my changes and all that stuff. So they've been really cool.
I've heard that a couple of the people that reached out to you initially would just like misspell their email.
Yeah,
and, like...
yeah, it was so unprofessional, and I was just like, you know what? If you're gonna try to reach out on a business level, you should probably spell check your email. You know? But yeah, so that was cool. That was cool when that happened.
Yeah. So Selena Gomez has kind of become a mentor to you. What's the best piece of advice that she's given you?
Well, she did tell me a long time ago, because I have this problem where I don't anymore, but I did have this problem where if I messed up live or something, or you know, something of that sort, I would feel the need to like announce that I did something stupid. Like, there's plenty of videos online. Okay, so I would just kind of you know, like, oh, I messed up that word. Here, let me keep singing. Like, you know. So I was talking to Selena about it a little bit, and she kind of just gave me a few examples of different singers, whether that's Beyonce or Jennifer Lopez or whatever, that when they would mess up, how they kept going, and they just kept singing the whole time. And that was my problem. She's like, look, all you gotta do is just keep singing. Like, don't stop. Even if the building is burning down, keep singing and someone will carry you out. You know what I mean? So I feel like I've grown a lot as a performer that way, because I feel like I'm a little more professional than I used to be when I was younger. So.
Yeah. That just comes with maturity and age, too.
I guess so. I guess.
So a lot of things have happened and changed since you started uploading videos. Before that, you had never been on a plane before.
Yeah.
And now you're kind of a jet setter.
Yeah, I've been on a lot of planes now. Like, too many.
Racking up the frequent flyer miles.
Yeah, actually I am. And I don't mind planes. Like, I'm not afraid of heights. Not really anyway. And there's no like fear there. It's just boring. You know what I mean? And
you think?
Fun fact, I can't sleep on planes or in cars.
You don't get the neck pillows?
I can't sleep. I just can't. I've tried. I've bought one and I tried to sleep, and I can't do it. I literally cannot fall into a sleep. I can rest my eyes for a little, but it's not good.
Well, you have a lot of traveling coming up, because you're actually going to embark on a tour with Selena and Emblem 3.
Right.
So what are you going to do on that trip? Are you just going to...
Well, the plane ride is just kind of, you know, that's just there. So that won't be that bad. But, yeah, I'm really excited for tour. She invited me back because I opened for her before. So it's really cool that I get to do that again. That's really, really, really an awesome opportunity. And I'm, you know, it could have been anyone. So it's cool that, you know, she wanted me. And so, yeah, I'm going to be singing to track. So it's going to be little old me on a giant stage, but it's going to be so fun. It's really going to be fun. And I have one little special song on piano, too, for my YouTube fans that like know me for playing the piano. So
what do you think is your favorite thing about being on tour?
The performing.
Yeah.
For sure. There's a lot of cool things for tour. Just waking up, being in a different place is also really cool. And you know, I gotta be honest with you, when I was younger, my thing was never to like travel. Like, if people like asked me what I wanted to do, it was never, the first thing in my head was never, I want to travel. You know, it just became something that is interesting to me now, just because I want to tour, you know? So it's just fascinating to just wake up in a different place, you know, every day. So.
Did you ever go on family trips growing up?
Not far. I mean, the furthest we ever drove was like Florida, because I'm from New Jersey. So that was like a two-day drive.
Okay.
So other than that, no.
Okay. So you probably remember your first time performing. What was
Oh
that
my
like?
gosh.
Because you were
Like-
used to like being in front of just a camera and maybe a friend
Right.
or two.
You mean like the first time on tour? You mean?
Just performing in general in front of an audience.
What? Well, what do you mean by that? Because I mean, the first time I ever performed, I was like 12. I mean,
really?
it wasn't like perform. I
Yeah.
just sang for my church, and I was like so nervous.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, my first actual, I'd say, real performance
Yeah.
was, I believe, the UNICEF concert where I opened for Selena at the Roxy, and I sang three of my songs, and I was so worried that like the crowd wouldn't be into it and stuff like that. And my fans were actually there. They actually like came to see my show. And it was so fun. And let me tell you, it goes so fast. Like you think like, oh, 3 songs, I'm scared, it's gonna, I'm gonna mess up or whatever. And it just like, you just have so much fun and it just goes by.
All
so
the adrenaline.
fast. Yeah, especially on tour, okay? Because I had a 5-song set last year, or when I toured the last time, and it's like those 5 songs go like it's one song. You know what I mean?
Are you going to be performing mostly new stuff on the upcoming tour?
Yeah, mostly all new songs from the album, and then with the exception of the piano song they'll be playing is kind of like a cover medley, sort of.
Yeah. So most of the songs that are on your new album you wrote.
Yeah, about I would say half of them actually, and it's a 12-track album, so it's like real full-length album. I'm super excited about that.
Do you draw most of your inspiration for your songs from your personal life or just from?
I take it from my personal life, but I also take it through the eyes of other people too, because I don't really want every song to just be about me. You know what I mean? I want other people to hear it and be like, oh, I'm going through that right now. And I may necessarily I may not have gone through that, but I like to write for different people.
Yeah. So your last EP, you had a couple songs that got some radio play.
Yeah.
What was it like the first time you heard your song on the radio?
I actually made a video about that. It's on my channel. My song Advice got played on Radio Disney, and it was so cool. I invited like a bunch of my friends over, and we all just it was like, oh, I'm gonna be on the radio party, so
Not
it
a
was
typical
crazy.
party.
No, I mean, it was just like, I was just like, yeah, I'm going to be on Radio Disney, so why not come over, have fun, and film it?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was really cool. That was awesome. That was the very first song. I mean, it was mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Like, hearing yours. You don't think, it's actually crazier than you think. And it's already kind of crazy, but it's like, oh my gosh, it's me, and everyone's hearing it. It's crazy.
That's awesome, though. So now you've performed on Dancing with the Stars twice as well.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of the show before you performed?
I never actually really got into watching the show.
But you'd obviously heard of it.
Yeah. Pretty much everyone I knew and their mother watched that show. You know what I mean? So, being on that show was amazing. But being invited back to that show was even more amazing. You know what I mean? They just liked you enough to have you back, which was super cool.
What was the experience like? Did you practice with the dancers before you went on, or?
We had about 1 or 2 rehearsals, I think, the day before. And, yeah, they're just that professional. They just get used to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you've also performed at many other shows like the American Music Awards pre-show with Taylor Cruz.
Yeah.
And, it's just skyrocketed from there.
Yeah.
So what is your advice for people trying to start up their own YouTube channel?
My advice is, if you really, really want to, get out there, I would, if you're going to do a cover, I would definitely do something that's new, that no one's really heard yet. If a new song just comes out, everyone's going to be searching for it. So that's the song. That was my strategy anyway.
Yeah.
So it's surefire. Maybe. But but yeah, so that's definitely a good tip. Like, don't do a song that was popular 4 years ago. I mean, you can if you want, but I mean, it's good to start with something that's new.
Yeah. And you kind of, when you were doing covers more so, you strayed away from just doing the popular songs. Like, you wanted to do songs that you liked. I know you have a ton of different influences, from like Metallica to Iron Maiden to
I mean,
Christina Aguilera.
Christina Aguilera is like heart and soul of, how, like, she inspired me to want to be a belty singer, and so I definitely love her. I'd say, like, the Metallica and stuff, I just love them. I don't know if they inspire me as an artist as much as they inspire me personally, if that makes any sense at all. But definitely the soul artists were, like, definitely hands down my favorite. I love Christina Aguilera, Stacey Orico. I don't know if you know who that is. I loved
Stacey Orico when I was growing up. MTV, like, introduced me to her, and she has such a good voice.
She's amazing, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I got the opportunity to meet her not long ago, and I, like, totally cried. I was like,
fangirl moment?
Yeah, I knew I was going to cry. I've loved her since I was like 10. Okay, and it wasn't like, oh, she was just a singer that I liked back in the day. No, like, I listened to her. I wrote songs while listening to her songs. So it was like, I just loved her. So I met her and I totally, like, was shaking. I was like, I love you so much. Okay, you inspired me so much. So, but she was definitely the soul influence when I was younger, because I don't think I'd really have a soulful voice, really, if she didn't inspire me from the get-go. So,
were there any other celebrities that you had a fangirl moment over when you met them?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you know who Shane Dawson is, but
yeah, the YouTuber.
I just met him 2 days ago, and I totally fangirled there because I've had, like, a crush on him for, like, 5 years.
Really?
Yeah. I don't really have, like, celebrity crushes, So if people ask me that question, usually, like, the first thing in my mind is like, oh, well, Shane. But I met him, and I was super, like, I was trying to be chill, but I was just like, Shane, I love you.
So you guys met at VidCon then?
VidCon, yeah, and I performed there, which is the reason I went. But, yeah, it was fun.
And he obviously knew who you were.
Yeah, because he said that he had wanted to meet me for, like, the longest time, too. And I was like, oh, my gosh, really? So.
That's cool. I heard a story that one of your friends met Ellie Goulding, and she had heard of you.
Yeah, my best friend Sarah, like my kindergarten best friend Sarah, she saw her on her plane, right? So then at baggage claim, Sarah was like freaking out. She was like, "Oh my gosh, Mom, should I go talk to her?" And like my friend Sarah doesn't like. She's actually not even that into, like, top 40 or anything like that, like, but she loves Ellie Goulding. I'm like, any celebrity to me, it's like Ellie Goulding, So she went up to her and she kind of talked to her, and she's like, oh my gosh, I'm out here in LA visiting my friend Christina Grimmie, and she's like, oh, I've heard of her. I was like, no way. It was super cool.
That's awesome.
Super rad moment for me.
Is there anyone's career that you hope to emulate?
I don't know. I mean, I kind of want my own career. That sounds super, like, lame, but, like,
no.
I feel like I already have, like, my own journey going. So, whatever happens, and it's going to be unique, I'd say.
Well, the industry is changing, especially with social media, and there are so many celebrities and artists who are up and coming on YouTube. So, I mean, it's crazy to think that one person's career path from 20 years ago isn't going to be the same anymore.
Exactly. That's true. I mean, the internet kind of changed a lot, with and there's just so much more musicians now than there was before. And it's apparent because you just see it. You see it everywhere on YouTube. And so, yeah, it's getting tough because there's so many. It's like, you don't want to compete, but you kind of have to.
But it's also cool because you can kind of create your own future.
Yeah. But it's just, you got to be driven, because there's so many people. I mean, I've had to learn, like, I kind of thought I was like really, like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm like a good singer, man, like a few years ago, and then I realized how many amazing singers are there, like, and I was just like, okay, I'm terrible compared to like this person, and I'm like, we're all competing kind of.
You can't compare yourself
like
to them.
that is definitely something I've had to learn. You can't compare yourself to other people, and I see myself as my own artist, and I don't even like to think about comparisons really anymore. It just kind of gets in my way. So, you
just have to be the best version of yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there is a huge debate nowadays with young artists whether they should be role models, like with Miley Cyrus and Justin Bieber, those kind of things. You have kind of stayed true to yourself, but also been a role model to a lot of young fans. So how do you do that?
It's not fake. That's why. I don't do things personally that I would tell people I don't approve of. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I just personally choose to live the way that I live, and I'm fine with that, and I don't really care if people say I'm, oh well, she's a virgin, oh ha ha ha. Like, I think that's cool. Sorry. So I do really want to be a very positive role model for my fans. That's a personal choice. That's not like, oh, I have to be. Like, no, I just want to, and I just have a lot of people looking up to me, and I'd hate to be that person to let them down. So, I'm not perfect, but I just try to live a smooth, godly life as best as I can.
Yeah.
So.
And it's very apparent that you love your fans.
I do.
What is the most touching thing that you've ever heard from one of your fans?
Oh my gosh. Well, recently, more and more, I've just been seeing a lot of pictures on Twitter that they would send me of like, this is how Christina Grimmie saved my life. And then they kind of like,
oh, wow.
write how. And I just like, I'm a sucker for that stuff, especially when it's like, you can't imagine yourself like helping someone to that extent. And it's crazy just reading how some people stopped cutting or, whatever. And it's just really inspiring to me to just keep doing what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. You have a great platform for that, and it's cool to see you inspiring people.
It's awesome.
So you're also a bit of a gamer.
I am.
Do you have time to play video games anymore now that you're so busy?
Oh, I always have time. I mean, I don't have a ton of time. Lately, I haven't. But on tour, there's quite a bit of downtime, I'd say, unless I'm doing interviews or something like that. So if I'm feeling, like, oh, I'm bored, for the next hour, I'll play Mario or whatever. But I always try to make time if I can. Yeah.
Other than playing video games, what do you usually do in your free time?
I literally sing like all the time.
Really?
I sing in my free time. Yeah, yesterday actually, I was supposed to be resting my voice for tour, and like I recently got over being sick. My voice is back now, so it's good. And yesterday I was like, oh, you shouldn't sing, but I want to. So I ended up singing for like a few hours, just like jamming to karaoke or whatever in my room. And like, I just love it. It's fun. It's like, it's a hobby, but it's my passion. It's my career too. So it's never really gonna get old. That's good.
Mm-hmm. So you have collaborated with a lot of people, other YouTube celebrities, from Kurt Schneider to Sam Tsui, and like so many people.
Tyler Ward and all of them.
Who is someone that you haven't collaborated with that you would love to?
On YouTube or just in general?
In general and on YouTube, I guess.
Okay, well, on YouTube, I don't know if you know who Savannah Uten is, but she was like one of the first, before I was on YouTube, anything, like singers on YouTube, and she's amazing. Okay, and I would love to sing with her.
Have you met her?
I have, yeah. She totally came to my house one day. It was like,
What?
I mean, we got sushi because she was in town and she knew I like loved her.
In LA or in New Jersey? Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, she's super cool. And she's a great singer. So that would be a cool duet. And in real life, I've
In real life?
or not real life. I'm sorry. I don't know why I just
In
said that.
general,
In general,
with every artist.
Yeah, I kind of. I want to work with Christina Aguilera, but that's obvious.
Yeah.
I've always wanted someone to like remix my song, like dance club like remix.
That would be cool.
You know, like Skrillex, or like Calvin Harris or David Guetta, like someone to like remix my song.
I know you love Skrillex.
Yes, I do.
So you've already achieved so much at such a young age. What are your goals for the future?
To just keep climbing, to keep, doing my music thing. I mean, so far so good, so I don't plan on stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have your album, With Love, coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what can fans expect on that?
They can expect some upbeat tunes, super cool. They can expect some sick vocals. I made sure the fans that say, oh, I'm inspired by, your voice and you inspire me to do, high notes and stuff. I'm like, all right, well, this is for you. Like, and it's super emotional too. I mean, there's a few emotional songs. I actually have a song called With Love that was actually my fan song. Like I wanted to dedicate it to them. So yeah, it's just kind of like an emotional album, but it's cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And you previewed that on your YouTube channel a couple days ago.
On my live chat. I had a live chat.
So, shameless plug section. Yes. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, anything that you got.
Yeah, my Twitter is @TheRealGrimmie. I'm always on there. And Facebook.com/Christina Grimmie, YouTube.com/Christina Grimmie, or ZeldaXLove64. And my website is ChristinaGrimmieOfficial.com. And yeah.
The tour coming up.
Oh yeah, of course. The tour I have starting in August. August 14th, I think, is the first show, Canada and US. And I have a Stage It show tomorrow. Super excited. I'm going to be singing a few of my new songs from the album. It's a pay what you can show, so it shouldn't be that much to pay for. And it's going to be a great show. And yeah.
Is that going to be the first time that fans can hear some of the songs in their entirety?
I think it's the first time that they're seeing like the real deal of it. I did a show at Hotel Cafe for, fans like 21 and over, and there's like videos of that on YouTube, but it's
fans
not really
21 and over and you're not even 21.
I know, right? I don't even know
Did
how
they
that
card
works.
you when you walked into Hotel Cafe?
No, because I was like kind of escorted in, but I thought that was funny too. I'm like, how am I allowed to sing that? But
well, cool. Well, I'm so excited to hear your new album. And, of course, our fans can subscribe on iTunes. You can type in AfterBuzz TV, find Chatting with Cathy, and the other 60 shows a week that we do here. So find all of Christina's tour dates at Christina Grimmie Official. And you can follow her on Twitter at, what was it?
The Real Grimmie.
The Real Grimmie. So, again, remember to subscribe on iTunes. Rate and comment will be your best friend forever. And you can follow me on Twitter at Catherine Kelly. You can follow AfterBuzz TV on Twitter at AfterBuzz TV. So, Christina, thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.